Even though the game comes out in, well, a date that you actually need a fucking matrix in order to decipher, the lead up to the launch of Anthem thus far has been mired in controversy. The aforementioned staggered release date of the game being available on Friday, February the 15th, if you're roped into one of EA's subscription services, which, by the way, aren't available on 1/3 of the platforms that the game is scheduled for because PS4 doesn't have EA Origin access at all. And then a week later on Friday, February 22nd, if you dared to purchase just the game itself, and that includes the more expensive insert phrase that sounds cool here edition. One could take advantage of the actual launch date if you spend $5 on just 1 month of EA Origin access, then buy the game while you have the 10% off discount on any EA game, then later cancel that subscription so that you actually save $1 on the whole ordeal, plus you get 10 hours of play during that week discrepancy fuckery. However, why would anyone want to do the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious song and dance, which is completely asinine but done on purpose to confuse the shit out of people that should really pay more attention than what they're intellectually capable of? That's not all with monetization controversies, as a leaked store image features items that cost as much as $20 for a cosmetic outfit in an already fully priced product. Skins are fucking $15 in a free-to-play Fortnite game, so how in the shit did they think people would react when the pricing model is higher for a game that also has a price point barrier to entry? A BioWare developer replied to the initial Reddit thread in an attempt to quell the pitchforks by saying that this pricing model isn't the final version and that they're iterating on the design. Motherfucker, the game comes out in less than 2 weeks. How in the hell have you not nailed down all of the details like this yet? Oh, I know, it's so that they could take the temperature of the audience by leaking screenshots and then make it seem like you're actually listening to the community when you don't absolutely rip them the fuck off and instead have a death by 1,000 needles approach. Since games are so fluid nowadays, it's easy to launch a product with one set of rules and then later, after the reviews have already been made and money has already been collected, do something that would stoke the ire of the entire gaming community. I'm looking at you, Black Ops 4. The microtransaction model in video games needs to be revealed prior to the launch of the product because it's an integral part of the core functionality of the game, as we've seen in many cases, like Star Wars Battlefront 2 at its absolute worst. As far as the game itself, the VIP demo was an unmitigated disaster with not only bugs, but it was wreaking havoc on the servers, and that's not even the game servers, but all of EA's servers, as if BioWare doesn't understand how to count slots for access, even though they have the data for the number of people that fit in the narrow category for being a VIP, or a very ignorant person if you actually bothered to pre-order this bullshit. Oh, and this is even with some people such as myself that did have access to the VIP demos somehow, yet when they launched the game, you were greeted with this splash screen saying essentially, go fuck yourself, San Diego. At least for the open demo, this wasn't an issue with the servers, but again, when the game has already gone gold and hasn't had a public-facing test for these sort of issues, it's really not a good look. Speaking of which, the open demo ended yesterday and I played it for about 2 hours before I decided that I'd had enough. The game itself keeps getting compared to a mashup of Destiny and Warframe with some Division sprinkled in there, yet it's not as good as any of those options. The world itself actually looks really nice and vibrant, as well as the plethora of mobility options were just about the only things that I enjoyed about the game. The movement controls itself take a while to get used to, especially swimming, and to a lesser extent flying, which sometimes makes all of that mobility that you have available to you cumbersome to control. Without a PvP part of the game, the co-op missions akin to Destiny's raids is the draw, yet the enemies are so bullet spongy and the time to kill is so goddamn long that you'll easily get bored of the monotony of killing shit that barely shoots back at times, yet at other times the turrets or boss AI is really powerful that almost forces you to retreat to regenerate health in an instant, despite the power-up drops on the ground that you'd rather not take the chance of running out to go get. Other games like Destiny and The Division also have bullet spongy enemies, however, there's a lot more strategy involved in both maneuvering and evading enemy attacks, as well as more creative ways of damaging enemies and weak points, thus not making a constant hold down button and mow down mindless AI like a landscaping company. I do like how there isn't a constant waypoint holding your hand for completing the mission objectives, but without a PvP multiplayer component to this game, I'm just simply not interested, especially given how bland the combat feels otherwise than the PvE. At least they had the wherewithal to call it a demo and not a beta, which is actually what most betas are nowadays, but the myriad of controversies along with a somewhat buggy second weekend after a poorly rolled out paid for first weekend, filled with gameplay that's more stale than crouton bread and an unclear roadmap of both how deep the game is and where the game will land on microtransactions, makes this a hard fucking pass. We'll see what EA has up its sleeve to either salvage this mess or dig an even deeper hole for themselves with Apex Legends, which I'll cover on tomorrow's video. But for now, what did you think of Anthem? If you played it, let me know down below. I've been the Schwantz27, off like Adam Levine's shirt during halftime. Until next time.